Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to The Short Answer. I'm Dr. Sue Morter, and it is a pleasure to be with you. So I bring messages to you from Morter Institute for Bioenergetics, and we do so every month because we want to reach out and connect with our community every chance we possibly can. And this is one of the ways that we can all get together and meet on one common note. And so the short answer is coming right up. But first, I want to make a couple of announcements for you. I have a list here that I'm supposed to read. We have, this is fun. For the winter solstice, we have global yoga for the solstice. And what that means is we're going to be running 108 Sun Salutations starting at 11 Eastern time and running through what is normally kind of our regular length of yoga classes. So it runs in about an hour and a half, but I would allow for 2 hours because we do some fun things in between, and it's setting some beautiful intentions, working you through the entire chakra system in terms of what we're working with. So it's not the 7 chakra system, but the big one, the 12 chakra system. So if you know anything about that, you're going to love it. If you don't know anything about that, you need to show up because you will love it. And you can participate on the yoga mat. You can participate in a chair, but just participate. Okay. There's a beautiful thing that gets to happen there. And the solstice is the most impactful time of the year for you to do this right in the middle of the holy days. And so, what we're doing is a version of the one that we did last year, and I explain it all when you get there, okay? So I'm going to be in silence that day, so I would recommend that you be in silence with me, and we'll have quite a beautiful influx of energies together. So that is on the solstice. So 11 a.m. Eastern time, 108 Sun Salutations. Come on, let's see if it challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to see if you can do it with me, okay? It is free, of course, and open to all levels of yogis, whether you have any experience or not. Please do this for yourself on this most auspicious day. So there will be registration information in the link below, okay? The next monthly healing transmission is Wednesday, December 28th, and we will be at 8:30 Eastern time, and this is a healing transmission that you are going to want to attend. This one is during the holy days, and it is designed to allow transmission, receptivity, emissions from you to be utilized in a collective that we'll be working with around the world. So it's a very special time of the year for us to not only receive, but to have a greater impact on our fellow human beings. And so a wonderful opportunity for you to show up, be a part of something that matters and a part of something that's making tremendous differences in the world. So the healing transmission, Wednesday, the 28th at 8:30, you can register at that, register for that at monthlyhealingtransmission.com. Okay. So also, the energy codes level 4.5, or if you're in Live Awake, it's gateway number 4, in January 13, 14, 15 is coming up. And it's a wonderful way for you to get your feet on the ground and your consciousness elevated in a manner that allows you to connect with the energies that are actually happening on the planet at this time. And in this year, numerologically, it will represent specific things. So I'm going to help you with, the idea of goal setting and visioning and that kind of thing, but it's a much deeper process than that to allow you to set your sights and get oriented on what is it that's coming up from inside here that I'm supposed to catch and not miss and live into this year. And this beautiful retreat is one of my absolute favorites to do in the year because of the nature of bringing this new information in every year based on numerologically what the year has to offer. So we'll be working with a specific number that has certain characteristics to it that unfolds in your life in a specific way. So you might want to join us for the level 4.5, or if you're inside of Live Awake, you already got this in the bag. It's part of your whole thing. But you can come in a la carte and join us for this January 13, 14, and 15. And it is a wonderful way to build circuits, lots of interaction, lots of experiential circuit building exercises, transformational processes that I'll be taking you through one after another, after another, after another in this. So you will emerge from that changed. Okay. And what a great time of the year to do that, right? Okay. Two more things. One is Spiritual Best Practitioner Training, which is the advanced version of BEST, in that we are taking ideas from higher states of consciousness and drawing them into the BEST session, meaning a hands-on treatment session that if you are interested in becoming a BEST practitioner, you can watch a recording of that and still get in on our program on January 27th, 8th, and 9th. And we'll show you how to do all that. If you just contact us, call Morter Institute for more information, and let us walk you through how you can do that. And we'll support you all the way through, check you off, make sure that you're doing things correctly before we move into Spiritual Best, which is the integration where we're getting the client on the table involved in elevating their own consciousness. And we're kind of acting like jumper cables and helping facilitate that process for them. So that's coming right around the corner too, a wonderful way for you to become a practitioner or enhance your abilities as a practitioner on many, many levels. Okay. So that's Spiritual Best Practitioner Training, January 27, 8, and 9. And then lastly, the gold membership is something I always mention at the end of the short answer, but I also want to mention it right now in that we get together every month and I answer your questions. We have a brainstorming kind of idea where you ask a bunch of questions and I draw a bunch of pictures up on a flip chart, and then I tie all of those questions together in a unified way so that you can see that everyone's questions are connected and related, and that there is a flow that's happening through humanity's life experience. And the sooner we get onto that, the sooner we start mastering our own life experience. And that's the key, right? That's the point. So the masterclass is something that starts right after this every time. And there's always an opportunity for you to join in time to plug right in and get your questions answered and asked, etc. So tonight's masterclass, however, is going to be a special presentation based upon the holy days and what we're in and this energy that's upon the planet during this time of the year every year. So it's going to be kind of a special sit down, slide into a deep conversation that will serve you the most right now. That's why I'm doing it this way. Okay. So that's it for the announcements. Now let's dive into to the short answer. What I always love is for people to realize that when we are involved in bettering our lives and uplifting our life experience and allowing for this grace to come through and for us to catch it and not miss it and know how to steer it and steward it. What I love is that when we get on the path to doing that, it starts showing up in mass. It starts revealing to you that there's a wave of grace coming through your life and that you just have to learn how to sit down on it, not push the river, not outswim it, not outrun it, not outperform this wave that's trying to carry you in your life experience. And so it is about finding and feeling your true path, finding and feeling your true path. And so what we want to realize is that so often people are so convinced that they need to, push the river, do the right thing, get out there ahead of it, overthinking it, jumping out ahead of the game, and not allowing this like divine timing to take place in your life. And I see it happen all the time. People are always in there getting that done, chop, 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 and they chop away at the ability to even feel and sense this wave of grace. And so how do we catch the wave of grace? How do we catch the wave of grace? So here's a clue. The short answer this evening is the small voice is the big voice. The small voice is the big voice. The small voice is the big voice. Okay, did you get it? The small voice is the big voice. So what that means is that the invisible world is the real world. And the small voice that's been shoved in, shoved down, shoved back is actually trying to work its way back up and out to the forefront of your life existence, into your experience, into your decision making, etc. And this worrying mind, when untethered to the body, when it's not tethered to the body, it starts churning and it starts story writing and it starts grabbing on to and assigning meanings to and building something out of maybe nothing. Maybe something small becomes something big in this outer world, whereas if we had been listening to something else it never would have gotten out of control. It never would have gotten out of hand. And life circumstances might still happen the way that they do, but the effect on you is very different when you start to place this in its proper place things in their proper position, in their proper priority. And the way to do that is to realize that the small voice is actually the big voice, meaning the small voice inside that is always overridden by doing the right thing, fitting in, belonging, trying to connect with others or something on the outside. The more outside we orient our attention, the smaller the voice of the soul, the smaller the voice of the authentic true self gets. It gets smaller and smaller and more faint to the point that we can't even hear it anymore. We're just so busy thinking and driving things and trying to predict and trying to control and trying to manage. We start telling everybody how to behave, and we start doing all sorts of things that lock us into some sense of security and safety or power. But all of it is being powerful in the wrong world. We're not empowering ourselves in the real world when we're doing that. We're empowering ourselves, or so we think, in the outer world when we engage that way. And so here's the deal. We have to release that tendency and come home to ourselves again and start to listen for that small, still voice inside again that is not supposed to be small and it's not supposed to be still. The beautiful part about still is that it's still there, even though you've been ignoring it and denying it for maybe all of your life. And so, here's how we do this. We start breathing in our bellies. We come back onto the self. We come back onto who I am. Who I am, not what all of them think or all of that is, or all of the desires or the demands of this, that, or the other people, places, and things are pulling me into. And this moment, when it is so significant to release that and drop in here, is one of the most elusive moments in life. It's one of the times where, I didn't think of that. Days go by, weeks go by, months maybe go by, maybe years, even decades go by. And we don't even realize that we're not doing that until one day there's enough pain that we start to look around and say, wait a minute. What have I been doing? What is this all about? What am I misperceiving? What am I allowing my own mind to do in its creative and powerful ways, to misuse its faculties, to write such stories and to build such evidence and to have a case of misery? Never mind that it's of misery, but it's a case. And when the mind has this case, man, it barrels down the road with that. And then something happens that trips you up. Maybe it's you stumble on the pain. Maybe it is that you recognize, no, this does not feel like me. It doesn't feel good. That's how you know it doesn't feel like the real you. If it doesn't feel good, it's not the real you. And here's the solution. Just release the story. Release the thing that's going on. Release this loud voice and drop in and just sit down. Close your eyes, drop back in, start breathing in your belly, put your hand on your heart, your other hand on your solar plexus, and just allow. Oh my God, wait a second. Where am I? Where am I in all of this? Where is the me that I want to be? Where's the me that knows how to live life without getting tripped up in such dramas and stories? And what have I allowed to happen in my life is a question to ask. What have I allowed to happen in my life? Just know that it's pain. That's all. You just allowed pain to happen. So where's the real me? Let me find this, and start breathing in your belly. And if you just start breathing in your belly, just like this, inhaling and exhaling and inhaling and exhaling. And if you slow that down and stretch that out, the longer the breath, the small, still voice gets to come out in between those breaths, the inhale and the exhale. The slower your breath, the more expansive your breath of inhaling, maybe to a count of 10. That's a good one. And then exhaling. It keeps this mind that goes like this. It's always thinking and ruminating and predicting and gyrating on all sorts of things. It gives it more space between those thoughts. And when there is more spaciousness between the thoughts, that small, still voice can come up and say, here I am, here, let me out of here, let me out of here. It's like, come on, remember? Now, here's the deal, you guys. We come to this planet to learn how to do that. That's it, period. That's what we come to learn how to do. We come to learn how to pattern interrupt. We come to learn how to embody, how to anchor, how to stay with this beautiful, glorious mind on the soul, how to stay on the self. And when we figure it out in any moment, either because we got tripped up because of the pain or somebody did something that just jarred us, just like, whoa, wait a minute, what was that? What? I had this good story going and all of a sudden I'm just like, no, that's not going to cut it. Okay. So now I'm tumbling and stumbling. How do I find self? How do I find it? I come back here, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, start breathing lower and slower, lower and slower, lower and slower in the body. And then what happens is that spaciousness, which is eventually that wave of grace I'm talking about, starts to allow for the perfect opportunity, the perfect set of circumstances for the small, still voice to come up and say, it'll say something like this: I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but what I know I'm going to do right now is breathe and come present to what's real and what's true. And what is real and what is true is this: I am a creator of my life experience. The entire universe is conspiring to support me in my awakening to that empowerment. And if I've forgotten it, lost my way, if I am somehow in the turmoil or the tumult of not knowing, feeling off track, feeling disoriented, untethered, that's fine. It's no big deal. It's really no big deal to drop it, drop in, drop through, sit down inside your body and start breathing. And the very most loving thing that you can do in that moment is to come home, bring your mind with you all the way in here, and allow that small, still voice that is still there to have an audience. And that audience is your mind. Is when your mind magnifies the small, still voice, you start making decisions again that are leading you toward empowerment, leading you toward manifesting, leading you toward allowing the graceful life that you are meant to have to unfold. Now, not everyone around you is going to be in the same place regarding that, maybe not even paying attention to the same sorts of things, maybe not even interested, but it has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to do it. No matter how many people you live with, or no matter how many people are in your workplace, or no matter how many people are in your family, or no matter how much of all of that doesn't seem to be in the same vibe, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because secretly and inherently and innately, you have the ability to just come home right here, right in the middle of a conversation, right in the middle of mealtime, right in the middle of the workplace, to just land back in here and find those anchor points that you study about inside of our coursework, and find the way to breathe in the channel that we speak about in the coursework, and allow for this to be enhanced once again, that the small, still voice is truly the big voice. It's the one that we're supposed to be following. And when you do, you end up doing what's right for you. And when you do what's right for you, it's right for everyone. So if you're doing things because you feel obligated, or you're doing things because you feel chained to something, then release it. Find a graceful way to say, thank you, no, I'm going to do this instead. And when you do, if that's really how you feel, everything around you will benefit for that choice and support you in it. And we just have to have trust and faith that that's the way it's going to roll. But here's what I do know. The universe always lands us exactly where we're supposed to be. And if we will soften the mind and enlarge the heart and allow the small, still voice to be the big voice, then this truth unfolds in our life path. Now, we're right in the middle of the holy days where lots of deep, rich conversations are taking place, and we're going to have a deep, rich version of that in just a few moments in the masterclass. But I want you to know that even this simple practice in the next 3 weeks of your life are going to have a bigger impact in any given 3 weeks of the year that you could do them in. So, let's plug in, hand to the heart, hand to the belly, come all the way here, start breathing in your belly. And just ask to see, ask to sense, ask to feel that small, still voice that might not come with booming answers, but it sits you down in the seat of the soul and allows you to emerge from a place that is truly aligned for you individually, personally, in a very special way. Okay? So the small, still voice is the big voice. Let's let it be. Let's give it a megaphone this holiday season and allow the holy days to enrich truly the presence of the soulful self on the planet. So join me in the master class. We're starting at the bottom of the hour. And you will be able to work with these energies on an even deeper level as we go into some meditations and some process, some breath work right inside where we're headed next. So I'll see you in the masterclass. Thank you all. Much love to you. Blessings in the holy days, and namaste.